Hi everybody and welcome to the introduction to EasyLodge. My name is Brent Starenberg and I'm the National Business Development Manager for Connective Plant and Equipment. And today what we're going to be doing is looking at the following systems and places within EasyLodge. So we're actually going to give you a general overview, contacts and things like that. We're also going to show you how to quote and how easy it is. And then we're also going to show you just how easy it is to actually lodge the application itself. Alright, so without further ado, let's get into the general overview of EasyLodge. Okay, so I've actually logged into EasyLodge for us. You would have received these details already when you first got set up. If you haven't already been set up, or if you haven't got those details or forgotten them, please give me a call and let me know. I'll be able to help you out with that. What we're looking at here is the home page. So once you've logged in, this is what you'll be looking at. We've got your details and logo if applicable, just up the top left hand corner here. We've got the various types of loans or products that are available to you, so whether it be business, equipment, finance, motorcycle, boats, so on and so forth. Up the top here we've got our lender panel. Now this isn't everyone on our lender panel, but it certainly gives you a fair indication of some of the main ones that we have available, such as obviously your Alfiras, your ANZs, Westpacs, Commonwealth, so on and so forth. Also up the top here we've got contact numbers. So if you actually click on the contact numbers, it will actually give you this little window, and this will actually give you a contact number where you can contact for support or any scenario questions you might have, and they'll be always happy to help you out there. Otherwise, feel free to give me a call and I'll see if I can help you as well. Okay. So closing that off, we've also got obviously your name would be there, and the log out button, which I would also recommend that whenever you're not using the system, you should always log out of the system as well. The main screen here, we've got a quick calculator, which we'll go through in a moment. That's what we'll go through with the quoting system. We've got another couple of buttons here, so we'll go through that in a moment. If I just scroll down for a moment, you've got any recent applications that you may have done. Okay, so I've got a couple of recent applications there and some examples which I've already gone through. We've got some news, which from time to time comes up there. So we publish any bits and pieces, whether it might be from a lender or it could be a system down, whatever it might be. It doesn't happen often, but obviously we need to let you know if it does. Just here on the left hand side, we'll just go through a couple of things. We'll have a look at the glasses guide, and the glasses guide can be quite a powerful and useful tool for your clients should you want to help them out when they're looking for a new car. They may have already purchased it, in which case you can get an idea of the value of the vehicle, but if they haven't yet purchased it, you can actually put in the details here and actually give them a printout of this, and it gives them an idea of what they should be paying for the vehicle as well. So what we'll do is we'll look at a 2012. I'm going to go back to my old stomping ground, which was Lexus. So let's go, gone too far, so there's Lexus, and I'm going to select one of the more sporty ones, which is the ISF. So it was an IS 250 body with a 5 litre V8. So we'll scroll down. It gives you the amount of kilometres here. So what that's done is it's chosen the average Ks of the car of that age. Now if the client's already bought one, you can actually put in those kilometres yourself and actually override it. Otherwise, if they haven't bought it, you could just use that as the average. Now you can see here, if it had any options available, they would have a tick box here, which in this particular instance there isn't any because it's all factory fitted. And then we've got a photo of what the car actually looks like. Down the bottom here, we've got glasses value, so you've got the dealer retail price there before on roads. We've got private sale price, and then we've also got a trade-in price guide as well. So you can actually give this to the client. You can see you can save it as a PDF and actually give them the information so that they're armed, and that obviously helps build that rapport between you and your client even further, because you've obviously given them some information to arm them with prior to negotiating with the dealer. So we'll go back to the home page. So you'll see the home page button up here. We'll just click on that. That'll take us back to the home. We'll also have a look at the serviceability button, so we'll just click on that one. And what that is it allows us to give a rough idea of serviceability before you get started. Okay, so if you wanted to, we can put in the income of applicant 1. So this is per month after tax. So let's say they're on about $3.5 grand a month. Applicant 2 might be on $1,500 a month. They've got no other income. Their mortgage might be, I don't know, $1,750. I'm making this up as I go. Currently not paying any loan repayments on the car. They're actually just buying one now. They've got no other loan commitments. They might have credit card limits of $5 grand, and other expenses might be, I don't know, $600 a month. They're currently married and have got 1 child. Okay, so it just uses the standard Henderson poverty index, and we'll just hit calculate. It's probably not a good example because we've got a deficit of $53 per month. So let's try that again. Let's give them five grand a month there, and hit calculate. All right. So the applicant's now eligible for a loan repayment of $1,447 per month. Now, as you can see, it is only a guide, but obviously it's not the be-all end-all, but it certainly puts you in good stead to understanding whether the client is in any position to even be looking at purchasing a car or financing a car, in which case you can say, okay, well, we've got $1,400 odd there that we can play with and start looking at what quotes and whatever that you can do. So without further ado, that actually brings me to the next part of what we're going to be looking at, and that is how to quote on EasyLodge. So quoting on EasyLodge is actually a very straightforward and simple process. You can see we've got this calculator section in the middle here of the home screen. You'll see you've got a few drop-down boxes with various bits and pieces, and you've also got a various number of lenders here on the left-hand side, giving you a repayment amount, interest rate, the product rate, any establishment fees associated with that particular product, and then the commission, and then obviously the percentage of the net amount financed, or NAF. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to go through that example. We'll go through let's look at a motor vehicle finance. We're going to go with a commercial full doc loan. Okay, you can see here we've got a number of different ones though. We could look at a boat, we could look at motorcycle or personal loan or truck and trailer. So there's a number of things you can do, or caravan even, but we're going to actually look at a motor vehicle finance for a commercial full doc loan. If you look here, you've got the different types of loans. So we've got chattel mortgage or finance lease, depending on what it is that's going to suit that client. And we're going to, in this particular instance, we're just going to select the chattel mortgage. We're then also going to look at, obviously, the amount that we're financing. So in this particular instance, let's look at that Lexus that we looked at earlier. I think what they have there was about the $97,000 mark. And we're going to do that over 5 years. So you can see there's a number of choices you've got there for the age of the vehicle, for the term. We're also going to do, obviously, tell the system it's a 2-year-old car because we're looking at a 2012 vehicle. And we can actually put a balloon here as well. So let's say that's what we're doing 5 years. So typical balloon term over a 5-year lease or term of finance would be a 30% balloon. So let's do that. So you can see here on the right hand side, what it's actually done is actually brought up the repayments for that particular vehicle. Now granted, I know this doesn't fit our servicing model that we did earlier, but let's just look at it anyway. So we can see here we've got ANZ Diamond at $1,413. We've got a rate of 5.15. The product rate is 4.93. The establishment fees are $420. At this stage, we're not earning commission on that, but that's what we're looking at. Okay, so if you have a look here, we've got the finance lender establishment fees. So just over here, so what we can do is actually untick that. All right, you'll notice that those repayment figures have actually changed because we're not financing that lender establishment fee. So we'll tick that again, and it just builds it back into it. So it's just adding that $420 to the amount financed. Pretty straightforward. Just depends on obviously the client, how you want to do it. The next part obviously is that we want to be earning some sort of commission on this. So there's a couple of ways we can do that. We've got a slider bar, which you simply just slide this bar up and down, which I'll go through. We can do a set amount of finance, so you can put your brokerage in there. So if you wanted to earn, for argument's sake, $500 on the deal or $1,000 on the deal, you literally put that number in there, and it'll actually make sure that it adjusts the figures accordingly on the repayment side and the interest side to reflect that $1,000 commission. If you wanted to, you could also do it as a percentage of the net amount financed. Okay, so if you wanted to make it, 2% of the amount financed or 3% of the amount financed, depending on the equipment, depending on the client, depending on what you can do, depending on how much you want to earn, obviously you can do it that way as well. But what I do want to show you is just how easy it is, because we want to show you the slider bar. And I also want to show you this button here. It actually says click to hide commission. So if you're doing this in front of a client, you can actually click that button there, and you'll see what it does. It actually gets rid of all that commission side of stuff. Okay, so you can actually do the quote with the client behind the screen, and then simply turn it around and show them the the rates and payments without that. So if we actually click, you'll see there's a little button there. So we'll click that. That'll bring it all back. You can simply adjust this slider. So like I said, let's have a look at that. We'll slide this bar up from where it is, and you can see those numbers increasing greatly there. Alright, so we can go all the way to the end there. There is obviously a limit, but let's go back. Let's be a little bit more realistic. Where we're earning some good money there. So let's say we want to earn around about $800 on the deal. So you've got the diamond. So now the payment's $1,451. As before, if we do with nothing, it was $1,413. So it's very important to actually realise that the amount of finance with cars, obviously, we might be talking about, here we're looking at say 9.32 versus 7.59. So you're talking nearly 1.5 basis points. Yet the finance difference is less than $100 per month. Again, obviously, these platinum and diamond and whatnot with ANZ, that all depends on what your client's asset base is like, and obviously the strength of the applicant itself. But obviously you can see it can change. If we have a look here at Alfieri, you've got a chattel mortgage here. So this one's $1,511 per month in payments. But if we wanted to earn, there you go, if we wanted to earn around $1,593 from the BMW one, we've only increased it by a small amount there. So if we have a look there, that's $1,511, sorry. We'll increase it to $1,555 per month. We're still at 7.72, and the estimated commission that you'll earn is around about $1,800. Now that's a really, really good way to earn or additional income to your already existing businesses. So once we've done all that and we actually want to lodge the loan, we've obviously got to start the application. So that brings me on to the next part of what we're doing, which is how to lodge an application via EasyLodge. So it's actually really, really easy to lodge an application. All we've got to do is, once we've established that what we want to do is do this for the client, is actually just simply hit this button down the bottom here. It says Start Application, and that'll actually bring us to the next screen, which will actually bring up what type of finance we're actually looking at. Okay, so what we're doing is we're going to say, which is what we were quoting on, and we're going to do commercial, full doc, car finance. There it is there. Alright, so pretty straightforward. So what we're doing is we're going, okay, how many applicants on there? Well, we'll just make it one, and it's one director or two directors. So if you've got two directors involved, obviously make sure you do that, or one director, just to keep it easy for this example. So you'll note there that obviously upon completion of the application form, you need to provide the following from your client. There's a signed privacy form, which I'll show you where that is. A copy of their driver's license, rates notice for the home if applicable, so if they're a homeowner. If not, obviously not. You probably need just a rates notice for water or electricity. Last year's accountant completed financials, so obviously you need some financials there for the client as well, because we're doing a full doc loan, not a low doc loan. So let's continue. Okay, so this brings us to the privacy statement. So you can see here we've got a privacy statement that obviously needs to be completed. Alright, so you simply click that button there. That will download the privacy statement form, which needs to be signed by the client, and you simply do the declaration down the bottom here that says you have read, okay, the privacy statement, and that they acknowledge the information provided by you is true and correct as well. Now, obviously, what you can do is print it. If they're not there in front of you, you can get that signed when you can, but obviously it does need to be signed. It doesn't need to, we can't have it not signed, but just to get the ball moving, what we're going to do is we're going to quickly tick both of those, okay, and we're going to hit the next button. Okay, so this actually brings us to the vehicle details. So what we're going to do is, because we don't know the NVIC code, because that's like a vehicle identifier code, what we're going to do is actually do what we did before with the glasses guide. So we're going to select the year of the vehicle, select the make, which was a Lexus, select the model, which was the ISF. Okay, so there's no different variants, it is what it is. You can see it's automatically pulling all those details through as it did earlier, and we're purchasing it from a dealer. Okay. Now if the supplier is known, we can actually put those details in there. If not, we can leave that blank for the time being. Okay, and again it brings up all those glasses details as it did previously. Now as a fairly good, as good practice, I would recommend that you do this, and that is to save the application at the end of each instance. Okay, so you can view and print it at any time, but we're going to actually just save it, or you can better yet just tick this button here where it says save after completing each page. So what we're going to do is we're going to just tick that, and then every time we hit that next button it's going to save it for us. as you can see there. So it's just saving it as we go. Okay, so we'll go back to doing the quick quote. So obviously we're doing the finance term being 5 years. It's a chattel mortgage. We're looking at $97,000 as we did before. In this particular instance there's no trade-in, so we're not going to worry about that. But they may have put down a deposit, as most of them have. Let's say they've put $2,000 down. There's no payout on the existing car because they haven't got one. And we're going to do a 30% balloon. Okay, so here we've got the broker fee as we discussed earlier. Okay, or we can use the slider to adjust the commission. Again, just depends on which way you feel more comfortable. Another thing you can do, which I forgot to mention earlier, is we can actually put an amount here of say $500 there as a brokerage fee. Okay, and also adjust the commission here to show an amount there as well. So you might say that you want to be at $1,498, you might have to be under that $1,500 mark. You're still earning $1,100 there plus your $500 in brokerage as well. So there's a couple of ways you can do it. And we just hit the next button. Alright, now you've got the ABN, so you should be able to put an ABN in there. Now what it will do is actually pull through the details for you from the ASIC webpage. So what we'll do is we'll actually just we'll put in an ABN there. Just bear with me a second. So the ABN that we're going to put in here is actually going to be a connective one. So we'll just pop it in. We'll just put in the ABN here, and then what that does is the system will, you'll see there it says looking up details. What it does, it actually is linked to the ASIC and ABR register, and what it does is it pulls through the details for you. So you can see it's already pulled through the company name, that it's a proprietary limited, trading name if it's got a different one compared to that of the actual registered name, so you can put that in. Obviously the date established, the nature of the business, so I can put in there the nature of the business. So I'm just going to put mortgage aggregation for the sake of the argument here. Some contact details, so business number and a fax number I don't know off the top of my head anyway, so that's okay. Alright, so then we hit the next button and that'll take us through to the address. Now what we'll do here is we'll put in the address of Connective as well, so level 16, 530 Collins Street in Melbourne. That's Melbourne, Victoria, and you can see there what it is. It's actually linked through to Google Maps, so you can see where it is there as well. And then you can add another address if there's a postal address or something like those along those lines as well. But for the sake of this example, we'll just continue on. So next. Alright, and then we can go start putting through financial year income. So obviously this won't be for Connective, but let's say that the last financial year income for the business that you might be doing some finance for might have been I don't know, 150,000. It's only a small company. Any debtors that they might have, any work in progress, any motor vehicles that they've already got, property that they own, and then obviously any plant and equipment that they've already got as well. So let's say they've got a factory or warehouse. Let's make it a warehouse. Okay, and they've got I don't know, let's say the warehouse is worth 350,000. It's out, it's in rural, it's not a very big one. We'll leave that. Debtors, let's say it's 25 grand in debtors. Oops, 25 grand in debtors. Their work in progress might be 50 grand. Alright, obviously you can put some descriptions there if you need to. So you can see there we've got assets there of 425. Then we've got some liabilities. So okay, if they've got an existing car loan, we can obviously put that in there if we need to. Amount owing might be, I don't know, 15 grand. Monthly repayment might be $850 a month. Existing mortgage, or let's say their existing mortgage on the warehouse might be warehouse. We'll put that in there. Oops. Warehouse amount owing might be 200 grand, and then monthly repayment on that, let's say that's around about sort of, I don't know, 1800 a month. I'm just making this up as we go, obviously. Alright, so again, just moving through. So you got, obviously liabilities. So you hit the next button, put in their banking details. So we'll just go with NABs, just as easy. Branch, Melbourne. Alright, let's say they started in January I don't know, 2008, and accountant details, so it's generic accountants. Contact person might be Mr. Generic. Oops. And then we put the phone number there, so it's 03 999. Email address is generic at genericAccountants.com.au. Alright, so then you've got this little tick button there, so obviously making sure that we've got the authority to contact the accountant for any financial information required, because obviously we'll need to do that. Any referees, so these fields are optional, don't have to worry about that. It's obviously company details. And then we move on from that. You'll see we're just moving down this line here. So we've moved from the company details and we're now onto the director's details. Okay, so we'll just put Mr. I'm just going to use my name. Okay, 25th of October, 77, male, mobile number 0429 939 085, not 7. We'll leave that. And email address brent at connective.com.au. Okay. So driver's license number, we'll just put some zeros there. Obviously we're Vic. Expiry date, let's make that up, 10th April 2015. Citizen status, obviously born in Australia, single and 0. So I'll keep going there. So as you can see, very, very straightforward, easy to do. I'm just going to put 530 Collins Street as the address here, just for the sake of the argument. So you can see just how easy it is to put these details in. It's a very simple and straightforward system. Let's say homeowner, mortgaged, CBA, and just put in some details there. Now you'll notice it's actually come up there that says it says you have sufficient address history for this applicant. So if I had to put in there that it was actually 2012, you'll notice it actually comes up with the previous address requirement. So you'll see that it automatically does that based on obviously the applicant, whether you need to get some more details for previous residency, no different than you would with a home loan, obviously. Alright, then we've got the employment details. Okay, so let's say for this particular thing, we'll say full-time. Actually, let's pretend I'm actually the director of the company, so I'll go self-employed. Job title, director, companies, Connective Broker Services, I think it was. Okay, again, obviously with the same address, so I'm not going to go through it all with you because it's pretty straightforward. So you can put in the name of obviously the payroll officer if required, payroll direct contact number. So obviously, you know, they may not be the director; that could be just who they work for. Length of time. So I'll do October. Again, I'll do 2008. So again, you'll notice it's come up that there is sufficient job history for that. Okay, so income after tax is, I don't know, oops, let's say it's $1,000 a week, and okay, I don't receive any other income, so that's fine. So then we'll hit next. Okay, and again, same thing, we'll go through all the various bits and pieces. Okay, so you can see we've got the property that was mortgaged, it's automatically pulled that through. So it's obviously saying that that's an asset. So let's say that's, again, 350 grand. Oops, 350 grand, cheap house for middle of Melbourne. So existing mortgage we've got there, it's already pulled that through, it's already pulled through the CBA part there. So again, we'll just keep it easy, let's say it's 220 grand, $200,000 owing on that. And again, let's say it's $1,800 a month. Again, just making that up. Then you've got your expenses. So you know, if they pay money to other bits and pieces. So it could be Foxtel for argument's sake, and I pay, I don't even know how much Foxtel is these days. Let's say it's $40 a week on the premium package. And then obviously we put in a couple of references, so you can put in their name, numbers, addresses. Obviously this is a test, so it's not going to matter too much. So again, Vic, and then we'll just put another one in there. And strangely they've got the same number, and they just happen to live at the same address. Obviously with the referees they can't live at the same address. Alright, they've got to be separated, but like I said, just for this particular instance I'm just showing you that it's very straightforward and easy to do. So then we hit next. Okay, so in here you'll notice the next part is submit your application. So now it's actually saying, okay, well, do you have any comments that you wish to make that obviously is going to make the processing of this particular application easier? Alright, so it could be that there's some details that you want to go through. It could be that you already know about some of the bits and pieces to do with their credit history before you've submitted that deal. Or it could just be around the car. So it could be, you've known the client for a long time. Whatever you think is going to help make this application easier for us from a processing perspective. Alright, so again you just type in whatever you want to put in there, and then we hit the submit application button down the bottom here. Okay, so you'll see it just comes up and says please wait a few moments while they receive your application form. Okay, so obviously you can see there it's making a decision. So what that's doing is it's actually going through the system, and it is actually being lodged to the platform there. Alright, and you can see it's actually come up to say, okay, through the various different lenders, we've got some that it's been referred, so obviously that means it's gone through, and it actually obviously will continue to go through. On this particular one it says it's declined. It's probably because of the information I've put through, and away we go. So we'd simply select the lender that we want to use from there. Okay, so let's say for argument's sake we're going to use Alfira. Okay, we hit OK, and again that will go through then further along. And what should happen is that the system will then say, okay, well these are the various bits and pieces you need. So as I said earlier, you'll need clear identification for the client. We've got in this particular instance 3 months of bank statements or history because of obviously being a company applicant. Recent payslip if required, utility bill, rates or something along those lines, and vehicle registration papers, obviously depending on whether it's the type of vehicle that's being used as security. And then all you simply do is once you've scanned those, you simply choose the file from here. Okay, that'll go into your own system. You select the files that you want to do, and then once you've done that, you hit the upload button, and that will actually upload the documents to us at Mildura. Okay, so we'll go back to the home screen. Once that's been done, you'll actually see you've got these recent applications down the bottom here. So you can see that we've got this one here. Okay, so it says it's been referred. So this is the last one that we just did. Alright, and you'll see that status will change as obviously it goes through the various different stages. So whether it be conditionally approved, documents sent out, or obviously the last one being funded and everything's been done. Alright, so that's about it from me today, and thank you very, very much for your time as always. If you have got any questions, obviously you can reach me at brent@connective.com.au, so you can email me on that one, or alternatively feel free to give me a call on 1300 656 637, or alternatively you've got my mobile, which is 0429 939 085. Thanks for your attention and have a great day.